today, when the former Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido, was also the former governor of the CBN, visited the governor, he made comments on the situation as it affects the security situation in Kaduna State and governance under Mr. El-Rufai. But we get to that is coming in a moment. Let's take a look at some of the issues that have been raised in the last few days. I'm being joined by a senior lawyer in Nigeria, Mr. Chino Obiago. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. Thank you so much, Mr. Obiago, for coming tonight on the program.
Thank you, Sharon.
I wanted to listen to what the former Emir of Kano said on this matter, and I'd like to get your reaction to that. Take a listen to what he said, former Emir of Kano, Sanusi Lamido.
The governor of Kaduna State is not doing well. You should invite him to your conference and ask him. And let him explain what he's doing. And tell him what you think he's doing wrong. You will learn something from him. He will learn something from you. Disinviting him is not the path of people who actually want progress. Because if you disagree with someone, having him in your hall where you can tell him your view is the best way, and he can defend himself. And if there are things that he needs to improve, he will take them on board. And if there are things that you don't know that he's doing, you can be better informed. That is, I think, the best way to handle issues like this. But again, I have seen the response from different branches of NBA. I hope that this matter will not be turned into a religious and ethnic matter. It should be a matter of principle.
Senior advocate, what do you make of the statement of the former Emir?
Well, I think NBA is a pressure group, and the motto of NBA is to promote the rule of law. Remember, it is not just because of the killings in southern Kaduna that NEC took a decision to disinvite His Excellency Governor El-Rufai, the governor of Kaduna State. It's also about consistent disobedience to court orders. And the motto of NBA is to promote the rule of law. We expect that NBA should not allow in its fold anyone, a member of the executive, that consistently disobeys court order. Now, in addition to that, being a pressure group, they have a right to decide who they invite in the room where they're having a meeting. And if NBA says they don't want Mr. Rufai, then they should give them the opportunity. I mean, they should allow them to take that decision. I don't think it's something that Mr. Rufai should, grudge about, or his spokesperson should criticize NBA for doing that. Because the key issue is NEC has taken a decision on that.
Why did you invite him in the first place?
Well, like the President Osoro, President of NBA said, the Technical Planning Committee made that decision without reference to NEC. And they have brought the program of the event to NEC meeting. That this is the pre-conference NEC meeting. And the NEC meeting is supposed to take a decision on take a final decision on the recommendations of the planning committee. And having looked at the program itself, that is not the only area that is tinkered. They have then has the power to say, well, we don't want this person, we do want this person. Of course, you know that at the meeting on Thursday, there were divided opinions. People voted against and for. But the majority of members of the NEC opted to disinvite him because of what is happening in southern Kaduna and also disobedience of court orders.
The basis at which Mr. El-Rufai was, the conditions or the reasons NEC gave, or those who petitioned the technical committee, the planning committee, over his invitation, those bases were they of optics, or were they substantial cases against Mr. El-Rufai?
Well, I think they are very substantial, my own personal opinion. We've seen what one can even consider as a genocide in southern Kaduna, and running over several years. And we've seen a governor that has been in second term, who has done nothing, little or nothing, to curtail the killings.
Would it be fair to say he has done nothing?
No, I said little or nothing, because we don't have records of people who have been properly investigated, prosecuted for huge, massive, and systematic massacre going on in southern Kaduna. I mean, it is very appalling that a village will be raised down in a state where a chief executive is the chief security officer, and we don't see concerted effort. We don't see, a commitment, a good faith commitment to bring to justice those responsible for those massacres. And they're going on up to today. So how will NBA as a pressure group justify bringing the chief executive that has taken no stand, that has not fought massacre, genocide in his state into his fold? Now, disobedience of court orders. We have people who have been in detention arising from Kaduna.
Just a moment.
Yes.
Let's touch on the issue of security, because I spoke just last week, I spoke with, just about this time, I was speaking with the governor of Kaduna State. And one of the things that he said was that the situation is an age-long matter. And that matter, I asked him a few questions about his decision as a governor and the government of Kaduna State in curtailing and ending the crisis, the security situation in the state. But he also made it clear, or he said on the program last week, that it's not, Kaduna State is not the only state confronted with this issue. Zamfara, Sokoto, and other states in northwestern region of the country are experiencing this. So would it be fair to say he has done nothing?
It would be fair to say he has done little or even nothing. Because remember that he's been judged in the court of public opinion. And the public opinion is so overwhelming. When this issue came up on the NBA, 1,500 people endorsed that he should be disinvited within 3 days. It is very remarkable. Now, I know that this is security across Nigeria. I know there's a lot of criminality. But when a particular sect of people, the southern Kaduna, are targeted, what happened to other parts of Kaduna State? What has the governor done to secure the lives of people in that area? That is the question. And the space is there for him to say what he has done to do that. You know, I watched the program last week, and there's nothing concrete that he has said he has put on ground. Now, if you see, on daily basis, people you are ruling are being killed. What have you done to do that, to stop those killings? That is a critical question. And the NBA as a pressure group, remember that. NBA is a pressure group. The NBA as a pressure group that is there to promote the rule of law has the right to decide that we need to make a statement on this. We need to demonstrate that we don't support this kind of massacres.
Does it necessarily mean that the NBA was right in this case?
Well, I think the NBA as a pressure group was right. You know, I'm a member of NEC, and I know the debate was robust. There was a lot of arguments for and against. But I think the NBA is right. I personally also think that NBA should have gone further than El-Rufai and disinvite people, everybody in government that has supported the disobedience of court orders. We lawyers, we believe in rule of law. And what is rule of law? That everybody is equal before the law. That the judgments and orders of the court must be obeyed.
But did the NEC consider disinviting other people? Because some, like Jigawa State, some Northern Kaduna State, NBA, a few other states, branches of the NBA, have said that they will boycott the conference on this note. This has divided the NBA, isn't it? Is it good for the NBA?
Well, we have 120 branches of NBA, and the National Executive Council Committee is the national body of NBA, so it's the highest decision-making body of NBA, apart from the general meeting. So if branches opt out of the conference because of this issue, NEC has a power to sanction them, because NEC is actually NEC that created those branches. So if NEC takes a decision and a branch goes against the decision of NEC, then NEC can come back and say, well, you have to explain to me why you need to go against the decision of the body that created you.
But for some of your colleagues who believe that El-Rufai is a governor that was invited, other governors also, they have been always picked in their invitation. Did NEC consider disinviting them the same way they disinvited Mr. El-Rufai?
Oh, well, that's the point I made earlier on, that I would have gone further if I was the president of NBA. And for us, I must say that the apologies of the president of NBA is completely unnecessary, because NEC has taken a decision. Making an apology does not arise at all. Now, I would have gone further to disinvite people like the Attorney General of the Federation, because we have on record more than 50 decisions of the court, orders of the court that has been disobeyed by this government. And how will you get the Attorney General of that nation to come to an NBA conference? The Attorney General that says that national security takes precedence over the rule of law and human rights. You don't say that in a nation with lawyers, because the lawyers are there to promote the rule of law. So they would have gone ahead to disinvite governors who, in their domain, there are a lot of killings and insecurity, and they're doing nothing. I'm not saying that the governors will stop insecurity in a day, but they need to demonstrate that they are fair and they are treating everybody in their state equally, and that they're providing security for all citizens in the state. And unfortunately, that is not the situation in Kaduna State.
All right. So you heard what the former emir said, that he thought that the NBA would have given Mr. El-Rufai the opportunity to come in the room and be asked question, and is being given opportunity of fair hearing on what he is doing. And if he's doing anything right, he might be able to be commended. If he's doing anything wrong, it might be asked and might exchange knowledge on how to do better. With the benefit of hindsight, do you think that the NBA could have allowed Mr. El-Rufai in the room and be questioned on some of these governance decisions that he has made and policy decisions?
Well, Shehu, NBA is not Channels Television. Channels provided a platform for Mr. Rufai to do that last week. He did not. NBA is a pressure group. They said that they took that decision to make a statement that Nigerian Bar Association in this new regime will not tolerate accommodating or, romancing with people who abuse the rule of law. That is his statement. It's a pressure group. So NBA has said it, and it's like an NGO undertaking a campaign. And that statement should send a signal to all Nigerian officials who think that because of immunity, they can get away with constitutional immunity, they may not get away from immunity from prosecution in the court of public opinion. And I think that's a very strong statement. I mean, we remember the time of Akaba Sharu, for instance, under the military. Remember the time of, Okosan, president of Nigerian Bar Association, who is saying no to any abuse of human rights, any abuse of the process of rule of law. The NBA in this country has boycotted the courts because the military has taken a wrong step in prosecuting people who are alleged to be, corrupt. So NBA has always consistently, except recently where the politics of Nigerian Bar Association has really gone awry, NBA has always stood as a pressure group to protect the rule of law. And I think in that light, that it's important to say that the NBA took a right decision. We haven't said that. I think that Mr. Rufai has opportunity, even as the space still provided, to defend himself, to say what he's doing in respect to Southern Kaduna. We need to see a stop to massacre in Southern Kaduna. We need to see the governor of Kaduna State do something about it. And not just in Kaduna State, across the country, where there's huge insecurity. We need to see the government doing more to stop the massacre and the wastage of life across the country. It is getting out of hand.
Okay, since you are a member of the inner bar, let me ask you, for the concept and policy of fair hearing, would you say NBA has given Mr. El-Rufai fair hearing?
Well, NBA has invited him. It's a prerogative. It's a privilege. And NBA has said, well, we're sorry, we're no longer going to invite you because majority of our members...
But it does look like the NBA has made a judgment that Mr. El-Rufai is wrong.
Well, NBA is not a body that's putting Mr. El-Rufai on trial. NBA is a pressure group made up of members, 80,000 plus members.
You said that the NBA has made a decision and is majorly in the court of public opinion. And we know what that means. Even in court of public opinion, it shapes the lives of people.
Yes.
Do you think that the NBA has given Mr. El-Rufai fair hearing?
Yes, well, I think a number of members of NBA has consistently demanded that something be done about Southern Kaduna.
But has he been given fair hearing?
Well, he has been given an open space. There is a public space for him to do something about
But has the NBA, because NBA made a judgment that it does look like their judgment is Mr. El-Rufai is wrong and we are disinviting him. But has the NBA allowed him to be heard?
NBA did not make a judgment. NBA simply made a statement.
But that's
took a position.
You took a position,
yes,
you're a member of the NEC of the NBA.
Yes.
And the decision after that meeting is the decision of the majority that Mr. El-Rufai is not worthy of your invitation because of some of the allegations against him.
Yes.
That means it's a judgment.
Well, no, it's not. NBA is not a court. NBA is a pressure group that has said what they are doing in Kaduna State does not accord with our principles, without motto, without mission and vision.
But
therefore, we can't have him in our fold. And the NBA has a right to decide who comes to their conference and who does not come to their conference.
You said that NBA had made a decision that mattered in the court of public opinion.
Because majority of Nigerian lawyers endorsed disinviting Mr. El-Rufai. And NEC, being a democratic organization, took that decision for the majority. It was put into vote, and majority of NEC members voted for disinviting him.
Okay.
So there's nothing anybody can do about that. The president cannot, even though the president himself said that he voted for not disinviting him. But the majority of NEC members said so. So El-Rufai lost in the court of public opinion, but that's a statement, not a judgment. It is a statement, an advocacy statement to show to the Nigerian ruling class, the political society, that there are people who are called lawyers in Nigeria who will not tolerate impunity, who will not tolerate governors not doing what they are elected to do, and who will not tolerate just sitting back and allowing people being massacred, citizens being massacred. Nigerian lawyers has now made a point that we are not going to tolerate that.
Right.
Not just with El-Rufai, with all the executive members, people in government, including the Attorney General of the Federation.
Let me get a minute comment from you on the CAMA law, the Companies and Allied Matters Act. SERAP as a body has come out to say that assent should be revoked by the president. What's your take?
Yes, I agree. I mean, well, not every part of the CAMA amended 2020 law act that, in my opinion, offend the principle of rule of law and human rights. I think the provision that allows the commission to deregister a pressure group like an NGO, like a religious body, is very arbitrary.
Is it against policy of standard practice across in some part that we see in some part of the world?
Yeah, well, in some parts of the world, of course, in many countries of the world, there are commissions or committees to deal with charities. And those are professional charity management bodies, not a company registration body. Not a company. CAMA is a company registration body. They don't have the competence to now look into books of charities. If the law set up a charity commission to look at proceedings of charity, that's a different thing.
All right.
But to give the commission the power to deregister a charity is very arbitrary. And I think it closes the social space for charities.
Mr. Chino Obiagu, thank you indeed for coming tonight and sharing your views on some of these issues that we've raised tonight.